Wait, 2023 is already done? God damn, it feels like 3 years roll up to one. It felt like so much happened, but not a lot to remember, like a flashbang filled with spikes.
Hey, yo, what the f?
It's not a continuation of the 2020 cinematic universe on my side of the pond, but definitely a feeling that life is changing naturally and unable to stop. Everything was going on. The art this year, though, was better and better than even last year. Something that I ended up doing 6 times this year was remaking old artwork from the late 2010s. Better shading and posing felt throughout the year, and just like this year, I wanted to showcase my favorites from each month, but with a little something extra, and hopefully something extra that will be in previous year in reviews. But without further ado, let's jump right into January. I started off this year with a goddamn bang. I wanted to do something like this for a long while, but did not have the confidence to do it until this year. Also, slightly adjusted Drake's black hair so it would be more easier for shading and to be not so blend in with the lines. I'm really happy with how this came out overall and ended up being super useful for both myself and other artists. And I ended up really thinking this ended up help pushing me towards making more for my characters. Though there was only one other one this year, this does make me feel like I can do this with other characters and do more or clothes and whatnot. I know the next step is doing like side views and whatnot, but this little step forward ended up being like a big major help for later on within this year. So this image I kept going back and forth with, mainly with another image that I posted this year called "Be My Valentine: A Sunset Caress." It ended. Be My Valentines are usually the ones that I do every single February to, just do art of my pairings. And I ended up just going with the girl's love emblem, to be honest. It's much more simple, but so charming. I ended up having this real Sojo energy with the two that I can't help but just love so much. The more I look at it, the more I'm sort of touched by this. It's a sweet image that I feel like lasted so much longer with this loving feeling. This is also one of the few that are commissions. Normally, I try to have commissions in its own category or just not involve that much with the art reviews, but this and another one ended up making the list. March ended up being filled with commissions this year, and even though I tried to limit the amount of commissions shown on the list, I couldn't omit this image for sure. This ended up being probably one of my more experimental ones, mainly just with the tail. I love how the background came out though, but especially how the tail did. I ended up going with a more CRT effect, try to get a bit more of this feeling of an old television that you mostly play games on, and it just fits so perfectly. I'm still happy that this came out to this day. This was one of those unplanned images, but I felt a mighty need to do it because it's the 20th anniversary and Mermaid Melody is one of the reasons I got into art to begin with. I have a hard time remembering, but I decided to do cell shading either to pay tribute to the anime or because of time crunch reasons. But this ended up being the beginning of the cell shading style I would start to do more and more, especially with other commissions throughout the year. I especially love though how her eyes came out. It's honestly a pretty good recreation while fitting my style a bit. What else can I say but thank you again, Mermaid Melody. So, this was an artwork that I wanted to do for years but kept wondering how to go about it. Simple, free characters in their forms in the ring, right? Well, to me, I really wanted to make sure that the art piece came off like it was pouring, the lighting thing, the scene, and having everyone unique enough that they stood out. Back when I did traditional, it felt like, honestly, a Herculean task. So for me, I didn't really dive into it until I got more comfortable with doing digital artwork. A lot of lighting research and studying of rain against people, and this ended up being a lot of people's favorite art piece, and easily the best in Mermaid, which is basically Merfolk May. It's kind of an art theme. Sometimes it's good to reserve yourself before taking on a project like this because honestly, now it came out so fantastic and honestly, yeah, it's just one of my favorites, if not top three at least, of the whole year. While late to its release, this was something that I wanted to do both to make new art for the new Zelda game coming out because a little attempt to get more people to check out my content, but at the same time, I wanted to do a sequel to the art piece that really got me to do more digital artworks. Part of the inspiration was from starting to do a image remake of my old art. Several this year ended up being that. I think a total of six, and I wanted to do it here. Simply put, I absolutely love how Zelda Eyes came out here. Probably one of the best so far, even from this year or from all the artworks I've done so far. It might be simple, but it's so effective. This was also before we got more information about what exactly Zelda was wearing, as well as any plot related details related to Tears of the Kingdom. But I really like my idea, so I ended up pushing for it, even though it does look out of place in some way. But in the end, I really, really enjoyed how this came out. July ended up being a very weak month of OCs. Month of OCs is basically a yearly project slash community event that I like to do to basically showcase original characters, both from myself and from other people. This year, though, I was very ill prepared, and I needed to do a last minute theme swap to make everything work out, especially related to IRL events. In the end, I got burnt out hard, but at least the art I created was really damn good. At this point, this was the peak of my lighting so far. It felt so gentle yet eye catching. Tommy and Kevin, two of the characters features here, look so good, and the background was so fitting for the mood. My eyes always continue to go back to the sword because I feel like I knocked that one out of the park. There are many other art pieces in this year's month OCs that really pushed me, but I felt like this was honestly the best one that I created during that month. And sadly, after that, I needed to take a break for more reasons than one. This month, I decided to take off when it came to my art as a whole, due to my full time demanding much more work than I was anticipating and burned out from monthly C's this year. This actually was probably the worst month by far for me. I just got sick for about 2 weeks and pushed through it to keep working. Though, in the end, I was laid off from a job. Company going in a different direction. At least I'm thankful that I got the experience, and it feels rare to get it. Although I did realize that it was time to push on, and this break ended up helping out much more than I originally thought it would. After the break in August, I needed to get back on the art boat. While September was planned out before even July, a lot of the art feature here was much more simple than the ones that came before. But the best one that this month had was another remake, to be honest. What helped out the most, I think, is the best part about the image is the background. Not only does coral look fantastic, but also the little effects on both the rocks and of the ocean. I think this year the gradient ocean background probably got better and better as time went on. But to me, my favorite part and probably the most subjective part, honestly, is how Nathan came out. It just felt so great to finally redo Nathan C. Paladin form. Back in 2017, that's when I did the first art of him. So much has changed compared to both coloring and style, and to do him again was just fantastic. I don't think this is going to be the last time you will be seeing his C. Paladin form compared to in the past. What I will say is that this and a commissioned piece is what helped me got back on the saddle in terms of art, and I cannot be happier. This month had one of the hardest punches to the gut outside of August, but also the month that fully rejuvenated my push towards art. I knew I wanted to do some fan art this year, but I had a hard time figuring out who to draw fan art of, what to draw, etc. And then I saw Proton John again, and then it clicked. I've done fan art of Rosa John in the past, especially of her as a mermaid, so why not work as one as a siren? This idea ended up kind of going in its own direction, kind of ballooning a bit to a point that I honestly really, really enjoy. I definitely want to incorporate the glitch effect into this piece, mainly because Proton John is known for accidentally glitching games in kind of hilarious ways, as you can tell by my giggle. Hell, that's actually one of the reasons why I ended up finding him. And I really like how I ended up doing the effect in this one, both in terms of the fins and around the character herself. I am beyond happy with how this came out in the end and felt so fitting for the spooky month. And honestly, definitely helped push me forward into trying to experiment more and more, which I feel like is one of the best parts about doing art. Okay, this was created for a VGen Discord contest that they held every single month, and my goodness, did this come out absolutely amazing! Where do I begin? Okay, number one, this was great to draw the Hato twins together again, as there hasn't been a lot of art of the two for a while, at least two in the same image. And speaking of two, this is the first time I drew them singing, which canonically they used to do when they were younger. Free Misaki came out amazing, as he normally doesn't even get drawn due to obvious favoritism, but she came out amazing and wanted to draw her for a while. And for her, even Michiko in the background came out so damn well. What you're looking at right now is also kind of a change from how I normally do it. Normally I kind of focus on the art kind of in a thumbnail, as you see in the little box there, but I want to capture every bit of both Michiko and Misaki so that I could use both of them for future graphic designs as well as any promotional material like the character cards that I like to normally do. And I am so happy it did, because these are, simply put, like one of the best art pieces that I did this year, though not the absolute best. That's going to be for a little bit later. Either way, I did lose the contest, but I am beyond happier that I created this piece and for the two to get this good of a treatment. So this ended up being a bit an ambitious piece, not gonna lie, since I wanted to do a Bob Ross style with trees with a lovely starry background. Also, I ended up kind of throwing in Kenna Flamer into this, mainly because of her winning the OC ballot of 2022, and I kind of wanted to be a trend that the winner of that of the last year's OC ballot does get added to the Christmas image. It was kind of thrown together, I won't lie, because her art outfit is rather simple. And a part of me does wish to go back and do that, but everything else I ended up really liking about it. I love how I kind of brought back the Basilis, which are my own little like slime creatures that I ended up creating. Peyton the Centaurus in the background, she came out honestly great, and I feel like the fluff shading kept just getting better and better as time went on this December, and I feel like it's definitely on point this year. There's something so magical about this scene. It might be just because of the festive time, but I just love how it all came together. I did want to do it animated, but limited time and whatnot. But honestly, I'm just happy that I was even able to complete this in the first place. So right about now, I would probably be like, "Hey, that's it," and have my final thoughts for both this year and for what's coming up next year. But I ended up having a epiphany before even 2023 started. There's someone by the name of Canadian Annie Guy. Oh, excuse me. Now Killer Chips are coming back up. Oh, jeeps. They go by the name of Canadian Annie Guy, and they had for their art summary of 2022 both character and masterpiece of the year. And I want to start incorporating that because I feel like it is kind of fascinating to both talk and look into what are both my favorite character and my favorite artwork of the year. And yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna try to start doing that, and let's get started with. It's no surprise, but Kenneth ended up being the one with the most images this year. It makes sense since people voted for her during the OC ballot of 2022, and I wanted to make sure this time around to make it feel like the ballot mattered more and in the future. And honestly, it was really fun to work on this very new, at the time, character and to flesh her out more and more and more. And I genuinely think that she ended up being like probably one that got the most like lore, more refinement as time went on. Definitely with her being a knight and a princess, like kind of mixture of two things I do like, but yeah, no, I'm incredibly happy with all the art I end up producing with her. Hopefully, I can give her a bit more love over time, but right now, here's the spotlight of the Fire Princess Knight. However, I feel like honestly, all that fails in comparison to what I consider my masterpiece of the year. I feel like it's a rare thing to have that negative goblin in the back of your brain finally set up. The kind of goblin that basically keeps putting you down, even when what you're making is still a step above what you're doing, and it keeps going step up and up and up and up. And it feels like this image finally ended up making me be like, yes, I can make good art. And even when other people says that, it's when you say that in yourself in your mind is when it finally hits home in probably one of the best ways possible. This to me is that picture. Between the intense lighting, the posing, the storm in the distance, this ended up coming together perfectly. I had this idea for years, even made a story, and it just came out so perfect. I just feel like everything just fits together so strongly here, and especially with how I normally draw Ego with his normally straight lines, making sure that there's no really curved edges outside of his hat. It's just jaw dropping. It ended up being proving that I can make something amazing, something jaw-dropping, something that finally makes me want to hang it on a wall. There's no greater feeling than slaying the goblin's comments, knowing that you will get better. And this image is goddamn proof. And honestly, my masterpiece of the year, and so far. And with that, 2023 have left the station. To some, it's the worst year this decade and probably the most hectic decade a lot of people have experienced. But to me, it's more middle of the road than the years prior, which I'm actually kind of glad about. But it's not out of the woodworks just yet for me. And to be honest, I might have this look because I'm actually bracing for a bad 2024. Between IRL family issues, financial issues, it's going to get rough before it gets better. I'm also at the point where I'm like, let's play it year by year and get through this. Outside of gaming, at least. I think 2023 proves the most that if I keep pushing, I will get somewhere amazing. The struggle is real, though. It will always be real, but there is something satisfying in knowing that I am making it work despite a lot of shitty things going on. I'm in the middle of playing 2024 art-wise, but it's looking like one that's going to test my abilities in a good way, and there's more to come. I'm hoping to make some physical goods as well, so that's going to test my craftsmanship ability. In the end, though, for the ups and downs, I'm glad to have made it out, and I'm hopeful for what the future has to offer. I do want to thank my monthly supporters, however. They have been helping me get through this rather difficult year, and honestly, it's good to see so many people just supporting what I do. You guys are definitely the ones that help push me through and just make it to the end goal, the finish line, one may say. And I'm just hoping to keep doing what I'm doing, keep doing what I'm loving from next year's until and heat death in the universe. Yeah, let's go with that. Whether you're just a lurker or someone that is a avid watcher of my art, per se, I do hope that you had a good 2023, and if not, or if so, I hope you have an even better 2024. GG, and I'll see you guys next year. Well, I hope it gets finished up before the